When the police entered the house, they saw a horrifying scene, something they had never witnessed before. An unbearable stench filled the air. The girl's body had literally sunk into the couch and decayed down to the bone while she was still alive. Lacey Ellen Fletcher was born in 1985 in the small town of Slaughter, Louisiana. Slaughter is located near Baton Rouge. Only about 1,000 people live there, and everyone knows each other. In towns like this, nothing unusual usually happens, but this case made the town tragically infamous. Lacey was the only child of Sheila and Clay Fletcher. As a child, she was diagnosed with autism and perceived the world differently from other children. She had trouble concentrating and communicating with others. As she grew older, these difficulties worsened. It was hard for her to study in a regular school, and she had few friends. Despite this, she was kind, cheerful, and loved sports, often playing near her home. Her parents were highly respected in the community. Her mother, Sheila, once worked as an assistant prosecutor and later as an assistant to the mayor. Her father, Clay, worked for a non-profit organization helping people. They were religious and active in the community, and no one expected such a tragedy in their family. At 2:30 a.m. on January 3, 2022, Sheila called 911 and reported that her daughter was not breathing. When police and paramedics arrived, they discovered a shocking scene. Lacey's lifeless body was found on a leather couch. She was almost naked, her body sunken into the couch up to her shoulders, surrounded by her own waste, maggots, and insects. Her body was covered in sores and lesions. Her flesh had decayed down to the bone. She was slumped to her left side, her right arm near her neck, her eyes and mouth wide open. Her legs were folded beneath her. The smell was unbearable. According to the parish coroner, it was the most disturbing case of his career. Afterward, he couldn't eat or sleep for a long time. The father showed no emotion, while the mother tried to appear remorseful and cried. The couch stood against a wall. Next to it was a grey dresser with a neatly folded stack of clothes. In front of the couch was a cluttered black table covered with lotion bottles, talcum powder, wet wipes, nasal spray, and other items. Nearby was a box with 9 DVDs. Apparently, Lacey watched movies played for her. Rodent droppings were found near the couch. The main question was, how could the parents allow this to happen? Why didn't they care for their own daughter? How could they live in such conditions? It was incomprehensible. The girl was so emaciated that she weighed only about 30 kilograms at the age of 36. An autopsy revealed that she had not left the couch for about 12 years. The skin on her back and buttocks had turned black. She tested positive for COVID, but that was not the cause of death. The pathologist determined that the cause of death was severe medical neglect, leading to malnutrition, starvation, immobility, acute ulcer formation, and osteomyelitis, a severe bone infection that led to sepsis. The death was ruled a homicide. It is believed she died 24 to 48 hours before the 911 call. According to her parents, they had gone on a weekend trip shortly before her death and found her body upon returning. They claimed her autism had worsened after 9th grade and that she developed Asperger's syndrome, forcing them to isolate her. She was then homeschooled. Neighbors hadn't seen her for about 15 years. Some newer residents didn't even know the family had a daughter. When asked, the parents told people she was ill and unable to leave the house, claiming she had locked-in syndrome. They claimed that Lacey's autism had worsened and that she developed Asperger's syndrome after 9th grade, which forced them to isolate her. She then switched to homeschooling. After that, she disappeared from public view. Neighbors had not seen her for about 15 years. Some newer neighbors didn't even know the family had a daughter. When asked, the parents told people that their daughter was ill and unable to leave the house, allegedly suffering from locked-in syndrome. This is a rare and severe neurological condition, characterized by paralysis of all muscles except those controlling eye movement. Patients with this condition are completely bedridden and require constant care. They are entirely dependent on caregivers, yet they remain conscious, aware, and able to communicate using their eyes. However, Lacey's medical records contained no such diagnosis, and it was unclear who had ever made that claim. The last time she saw a doctor was at age 16, when she was still in school. At that time, she only complained of anxiety and had a diagnosis of autism. Why she later became immobile is unknown. The family lived a very private and isolated life. They didn't communicate much with others, and no one visited their home over the years. Because of this, no one knew what was happening to Lacey. After their daughter's death, the mother wrote on social media, "Mom and Dad love you so much." The parents, 64-year-old Sheila and 65-year-old Clay Fletcher, were arrested on May 2nd, 2022. They were charged with second-degree murder. However, they did not admit guilt. They claimed their daughter was an adult who made her own decisions and that they could not influence or intervene. According to them, she simply preferred to live as a recluse, staying on the couch and not getting up. They even said she refused to use the bathroom, instead relieving herself on a towel next to the couch, which they would later clean. They also stated that Lacey never complained about feeling unwell, so they did not seek medical help. The mother said she helped treat her daughter's skin sores. All of this sounded implausible. The woman was severely emaciated, starved, and had developed sepsis. Earlier, the parents claimed their daughter was paralyzed, but later they said she chose this lifestyle. For 12 years, this happened right in front of them, and they did nothing. Now they were claiming she was not ill and did not need care. It also seemed suspicious that Lacey died right when they went on vacation, or that they left when she had already died. There was not a single recorded instance of the parents seeking medical help for their daughter. Just 2 days after their arrest, on May 4th, 2022, the parents were released on bail of $300,000 each. This decision caused significant controversy. According to the district attorney, the parents had no prior criminal record and were unlikely to flee, so they were allowed to await trial while free. Sheila and Clay portrayed themselves as grieving parents, but the public did not believe them. Local residents were shocked and outraged by what they saw as the parents' negligence. The couple's lawyer released a statement saying they did not want to relive the pain of losing their child through the media and therefore would not give interviews. He added that they had endured great emotional suffering, and anyone who has lost a child understands that pain. But many questioned whether such a comparison was appropriate. Lacey's parents could have helped her if they had sought medical care, but that would have required willingness, which they seemingly lacked. The prosecutor called the girl's death a homicide and demanded a full investigation, citing severe neglect as the cause. Authorities are now deciding how to classify the case: negligent homicide, manslaughter, or second-degree murder. Negligent homicide carries a sentence of up to 5 years, manslaughter up to 40 years, and second-degree murder can result in life imprisonment without parole. The prosecutor stated he would push for second-degree murder charges because the parents failed to do what they were obligated to do. They were her primary caregivers and should have helped her. We don't treat animals this way. If an animal were in such condition, we would take it to a veterinarian. And here, this was a human being, their daughter. The trial is still ongoing. I will continue to follow the case and share updates on the verdict. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments what you think about this case. Thank you, and goodbye.